Hi everybody, I am Lauren Delisa Coleman and you are inside another episode of Filmio interview series. I am very excited to bring this next interview to you because we have, as you can see, 3 women who are involved in a short that is being premiered here at the Tribeca Film Festival, and I will have each of them introduce themselves to you. The name of the film is Liza Anonymous, and then we will get into kind of the inner workings of the film. So, please.
Hi, I'm Chloe Smolkin, and I was the cinematographer for Liza Anonymous.
I'm Aubrey Smyth, and I'm the director and producer.
Leah McKendrick, writer.
Thank you all so much for joining us here at Filmio. So, where to begin? Well, first of all, can you give a quick synopsis of the film, for our viewers?
Oh, is it Guess I'm Up? All right, yeah. Liza Anonymous is about a young woman in New York trying to find her tribe, trying to find her community, and putting on many masks and many faces throughout support groups, trying to find her people. And we realize that she's probably not an addict in the way that she presents herself in all of these support groups, but we realize it's because she has an addiction to something else, which is trying to find community and feel seen.
Which I think is probably a really appropriate theme happening right now, right, in the U.S. and around the world. But how did you actually decide or come to being able to write this script? Because I'm assuming you wrote this obviously pre-pandemic, but it's very appropriate even now, right, that kind of mindset. When did you start working on this? And again, how did you kind of come up with the idea?
I wrote it pretty quickly. It was actually inspired by the star of the film, Danielle Beckmann, who I went to college with, and she's just very talented. We went to acting school together. Very talented actress, really good with different voices and accents, and I felt that she really needed a vehicle for her talents. And we were out one night here in New York. I had a little to drink, and I said, you know what? I will write that for you. If you want that, that would be a gift that I would give you, and I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna give it to you, and it's up to you what you do with it. But I thought the concept lended itself well for her to be able to strut her stuff and play many different characters, because Liza assumes many different identities through all of the different support groups, similar to like Fight Club. And that's sort of how it happened. I gave it to her as a gift, and she got it made and brought all this amazing team.
Wow. So why don't both of you tell me a little bit about how you came to be, part of the team? I'm assuming she reached out to both of you, or you had already had a relationship with her. How did it kind of go?
So I didn't know Danielle or Leah before this, but I'm a commercial director, and I've been directing commercials for a decade in the city, and my casting director knows Leah, and she recommended me to Danielle. And then I read the script, and I just loved the opening scene. I could visualize it, and then I knew that I would bring on Chloe because she and I film like a lot of commercials together. So
okay,
yeah,
great. Well, I don't know. I like the scene as well, the opening. But I love when she gets outed, right? And the character who outs her is like really funny.
Milton, he's great, and Daniel Fox is the actor, who's excellent.
An absolute crack up. So what were, I guess, maybe the biggest challenges on working on this film? I mean, obviously you have to be very well focused on any short, right, to be able to convey the story. But anything, in particular that, you really had to kind of overcome?
When I approached Chloe also to ask her to DP it, I said to her, I was like, well, I'm going to tell you there's 4 circular dolly tracks, so that's what you'd be getting into. In 2 days we have to film it. And she was like, well, I think we can add a 5th at the last scene. I was like, okay, you're my girl, let's do this. So that was a challenge for us.
That 5th dolly track is a move that Hollywood would have done on a big fancy crane, but we did on a very intricate dolly track. So we did it the hard way, but the scrappy, intelligent way.
Absolutely, that's accurate. And then also, there's so many costume changes, so many location changes. It all took place in a church basement, but we still had several rooms, so that was a challenge too. Just having the production design and the wardrobe. There's so many elements and people, so many extras.
Yeah, that's very true. So now, how are you finding the festival circuit? Is it something that I guess? Oh, well, who would have actually made all of those different I don't know, submissions and et cetera, et cetera?
Sure.
Did that come initially from the star who you wrote for, or how is that kind of all being orchestrated?
Yes, Danielle Beckmann, who plays Liza, is also a producer, and so she has been submitting to all the festivals, along with Katie Rosen is our producer, and our production designer is also our producer who really knows the festivals. So between the four of us, we've been submitting, and this is our world premiere. This is our first festival, and we're so excited because it's in our backyard, and
Right.
we're all New Yorkers, and it's a New York story.
Yes, very, very much a New York story. That's so interesting. I think that, if there is maybe any type of advice that you could give, well, I know that you said, you yourself haven't been the one who has been entrenched in all of the submissions, but from what you've kind of seen, is there any type of, I don't know, strategy or advice that you might give to filmmakers who are trying to get into more of the festival circuit, or just be able to get more onto the radar, for their films? There's so much, or there is so many great filmmakers, so much great work that's happening, right? And I think to get up over the noise these days is probably what is maybe most challenging. So what's kind of been your experience with that?
My thought going into this film was, I want to do something that's really memorable and makes it very interesting from the start. So that's why we did the 4 circular dolly tracks in the beginning, to really just intrigue you, what is this character going to do? How is she going to get out of this? I just wanted to excite everybody from the get-go. So that was my approach as a director, how do I get people excited about my film? Well, it's got to look exciting. But in terms of submitting to the festivals, I mean, maybe Leah, you have some experience with that, but I think that, we kind of just, so far we've been taking it as we go, so
But I think that is a good point to make, that if you want people to be excited about your film, how are you going to draw them in, and right from the very, kind of beginning. So,
yeah.
Kind of great forethought on that. But yes, please talk to me a little bit more maybe about just the writing process itself. It's obviously not your first time at the rodeo, as they say. So what kind of maybe previous experience, or what kind of thoughts or just skills did you bring to this that maybe you hadn't in the past, and why?
It's fun writing something for somebody else and that being your North Star, because I kind of banged it out very quickly and went with all of my first instincts, and was pretty passionate about hiring a director that understood it. And not that I didn't want to take any notes, but that it's so simple, it's so short, that if somebody came in and was we need to reimagine it as this or that, I thought, they probably don't understand it, and it's going to be a complete, it's going to be a struggle. And that's what I have learned being a producer myself, having handed off many scripts to different directors, from shorts to web series to feature films. Now I work on several studio movies, and it can be really hard if you hire a director that sees it very differently. So I think that was sort of my biggest thing, was I'm going to trust my initial instincts as a writer. I'm going to write something I think is funny, something I think is heartfelt. I think that's just experience, having done it for so long. Nowadays I trust my initial instincts more than I used to. I used to kind of, oh no, that's stupid, and go back and rewrite and go back and rewrite. And now I just go, no, my initial instinct is usually the strongest and the weirdest. And I just gotta follow that where it may lead, and I hope that the director that we choose and that you bring on board gets it and isn't trying to either censor it or to kind of pull it apart and take it off track. And I think that Aubrey got it immediately, so it was a really easy transition.
Great. In terms of the photography, I feel that this is shot, I don't know, I love how it's shot because it just syncs with what the story is, right? So it's not too glossy, it's not too this, it's not too that. There's kind of just some cool middle ground that almost you're looking at it, or you shot it or something with your film as the viewer. Is that, what if you were more than likely kind of going for, and kind of what your thought process was behind that? I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we wanted a look that was adaptable, because we needed we needed every version of Liza to look different. And we needed it to be obvious when you cut between scenes that she's in a different place, pretending to be a different person. So we needed a look overall that could be adaptable to those different looks. And then with the circular dollies in the beginning, it sort of helped cue the audience. This is the same person. We're gonna do the same move around her every time she's in the same spot. Make it really clear, because in another movie it could have gotten lost that this is the same person.
Interesting. So what's next for you guys? Are you all gonna work together on something, else, maybe in the same vein, or is it kind of hard to say? You're still, savoring the moment of now, right?
We're just at the beginning of it. We're
Yeah.
so excited just to see like a crowd watch it and hopefully laugh. And
We'll know today at 4:30 we're seeing the audience respond to it for the first time.
That's
that'll be
really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you guys, given, obviously the different roles that you're playing, what would you like to have, I guess, the audience tonight and always take away from the film once they've finished watching it? Let me start with you as the writer.
I just love, my favorite thing ever is when somebody remembers a line or a look or a moment or something touched them or a scene or a character. I don't need people to remember everything that happens. I don't need people to remember anybody's names. I don't need people to remember me or anybody that worked on it. But if it touched them or something stuck with them, I feel like that's as good as it gets, and I feel blessed. to be
Oh,
able to
that's
do that.
great. Okay, because I actually remember one of the lines too.
You
so
do? Which
yeah, I
line?
do
Which
because
line is
I'm
it?
telling you, I love the character who outs her in that moment.
Yes.
And so when
Oh,
I
he has
think
good
she
lines.
says, what are you doing here? But he says the more important question is, what are you wearing? And it's just that it's very just funny. It's very New York. It's very I just love that just personally.
Right
so
on.
yeah, so
Thank
it
you.
worked. It
Thank
worked.
you.
You're
That's
welcome.
funny.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
My takeaway, I would hope that everybody really actually enjoys watching it. It has a really fun time and likes the comedy of it and can laugh along with it. That always makes me feel good to hear the audience reaction. So, and of course, though, after watching it, I hope people are like, wow, that was great camera movements and great wardrobe and great props. That movie came together. But really, I think it's just, you might not remember the details, but you'll remember how it made you feel. Yeah.
I
Great.
hope that people watch it and ask when it's gonna become a series or a feature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what? That's a good one. Yeah, because it could be. It's very.
Could be.
It's quirky but real, at the same time. Do you know?
Yeah, and Danielle Beckmann, who plays Liza, is so strong with all the different characters. So I think it could have a life.
Yeah.
We'll put that out there in the universe.
Yeah.
You've heard it here first. Congratulations, really, to all of you guys, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us, and don't miss the next episode of the Filmio interview series. I'm Lauren Delisa Coleman.